Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Life with Unomsadlasa. Today I'm visiting Chef Andile Somdaka. He's going to be sharing his journey. He was a chef of our President Nelson Mandela, Tata Nelson Mandela, no President Tata Thabo Mbeki. So he will be sharing his journey, how he started and how he opened his restaurant, because he's got the best food. Welcome, Chef. How are you?
All right, man. How are you, Somsa?
I'm good.
Why are you only telling me now that I have a best food restaurant and all that?
But you know, I've always told you. but how many people have I brought into your restaurant?
Yeah, no, lots. Yeah, lots.
Like
It tells. Yeah, it tells. Yeah, no, thanks, my friend. Yeah, thanks, my friend. Yeah.
But anyway, please tell us about yourself. Who is Andile Somdaka?
Yeah, guys, I'm definitely Andile Somdaka. I'm from Cape Town. I was born and bred in Cape Town. And I also grew up, in the Eastern Cape also, Yeah, so I know a bit of village life, and I also know a bit of urban life also. A lot of urban life, because I'm in the urban space even now. Originally from Cape Town, I work in the hotels in Cape Town in the Western Cape, and I trained as a trainee chef at the Langeban Club Mykonos Hotel. That was 1990. Yeah, it's actually, I'm 32 years now in the industry as a chef.
You're revealing your age.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's easy. I'm only 35 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a very young, right?
It's most definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me, okay, you just gave us a brief of who you are and where you trained.
Yeah.
When did the love for food start? Did you grow up loving food? How did you start loving, or rather, how did you decide to you want to be in the hospitality industry?
In fact, I actually never decided to be in the hospitality industry. I think the hospitality industry chose me.
Right.
Because of what happened is, like, as a young person at home, as a teenager, I remember my mother, when she used to have visitors at home, she used to demand that the tea, when she's having guests, must be made by me.
Oh, wow.
And then, so I had that responsibility, and I enjoyed it and all those things. And little did I know that I was actually going to be made to
okay.
And then in no time to cook other things, until I got to a level whereby I was actually alternating with my older sisters to cook daily meals at home. So so I went through that, and partly, in fact, this thing actually of being a chef happened at home. And I didn't know that actually a career was actually being built here. So in no time then I got friends of mine who were actually working at the Thabo hotel. So I asked them for a holiday job.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I was taken to Club Mykonos. And luckily, I grew up as a young person, as hustling. I used to hustle a lot as a young person, because of the upbringing of the Eastern Cape. Actually, I think it really prepared me to be what I am today. Because of we grew up, we never knew that we were actually, we had close to nothing. Until you get into this environment, then you realize, by the way, that was bad, so. But then when we were in the Eastern Cape environment, we didn't know that we were suffering, because of to us we were happy, our life was fine, and so then when you realize that, when you get into the urban lifestyle, and then you realize that, look, there were so many things that we didn't have that are here in the urban side. I mean, in the urban life. So the hustling was actually molded in the Eastern Cape. The time in Kule, Koba and all that. So yeah, it became easier for me to, when I got into a working environment, working hard. Every time, as a young person myself, what I did also, what made me to be recognized in my workplace was, I used to work very, very hard. I used to work like a dog. I used to be a useful young man around my seniors at work. I work very well with people that were managing me. And people used to fight with me, and they used to be very happy when I'm in their shift. So they know that Chef Andile, I was not Chef Andile then, I was still a trainee, is going to nail these things, So so I used to work hard, and I remember I had a work schedule where I was actually programmed to work split shifts. I was given a split shift tasks, and the split shift, you started at 10 o'clock, 10:30 till 2 o'clock, 2:30. And then you go home and rest. You come back 6:30 to come and serve dinner. You serve lunch, and you come back and serve dinner. So you literally at work the whole day. You have no life. That is called split shift. So I was actually exposed to that. Over and above what I used to do, if I'm scheduled to work at 10:30 to 11 o'clock, I used to be at work at 6 o'clock to go and learn pastry. Yet I was actually working in the production kitchen, or else if I was going to be scheduled to go and work at the restaurant, and that was going to happen, you know. So I will go to work at the pastry chef, at the bakery of the hotel, and go and learn how to bake, and go and learn how to do cakes and rolls, bread rolls, and everything. And that also became very fruitful for me. It was when I started my own business, doing catering businesses. I knew everything.
Wow.
So I was an all-rounder in my business. I was an all-rounder at work because I used to be very curious in learning what was happening at work. So that enabled me to be where I am today. So
so you never limited yourself basically when you were there. So you never went to school to study. You only...
I did in-service training. Yeah, I did. What do you call it? I was trained by the hotel.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't go to a formal school.
Like culinary school, those expensive ones. And
where was I going to get 100,000 rands or 60,000 rands?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I went against all odds to make myself to be where I am today.
Hard work.
Yeah, hard work pays.
Because had you not worked hard, you wouldn't be where you are. And had you limited yourself, you wouldn't be where you are. Mhlambe uti, because nankulele pa ube comfortable with the little they've given you, but when you saw beyond what you given, and
I didn't actually really see until the guys saw a potential in me.
Right.
They refused me to work to go back to school because of when I was working there for a December holiday job, they said no, you're not going nowhere. You know, so that's what happened to me. You know, so that's why I ended up. The hotel was actually prepared to train me to put me into the program of the hotel. So I went through that. So I was quite lucky also. You know, so it was quite a relief also for my parents who couldn't afford. You know, so it was a breakthrough for me. So yeah, I didn't go to any formal school, and I tell people everywhere I go that I've never seen a formal school, culinary school. I tell students at culinary school that look, you guys are so lucky. Make use of these documents. You know, make use of them. But I later then got my qualifications, and yeah.
Now you're working at the hotel. They train you. You become the best. Now, when did you start, or rather, how did you become a chef president?
It goes back to the same thing. I worked at Mount Nelson Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel in Cape Town. I worked at Victoria and Alfred Hotel in Waterfront with Chef Rose Day. I was working with Garth Strobel at the Mount Nelson Hotel. And in Clappington, I was working with Case Apple. In no time, these people were talking about me, that I'm looking for a chef de partie who has these credentials. People, wherever I went, I used to work with Rose Day at Clapping Cross. Rose Day is actually the one who pushed me from Clapping Cross to go and work at the Century. I mean, at the V&A Waterfront.
Okay.
You know, so I worked with him there. So when I was then, I did some holiday job at Mount Nelson also.
Okay.
And I was also poached there by a guy who actually referred me into some hotel in Sea Point, which was called Centurion Hotel. At the age of 23 years old, I became a head chef of the 3-star hotel.
Wow.
And I barely started in the industry. I started when I think I was 19. At 23 years old, in the Cape Town environment, you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying Cape Town environment.
I know.
You don't get black chefs who are head chefs there. And so I made that breakthrough because of my hard work and commitment, and also working very well with your peers, both senior and junior. You work very well with people. So that's what happened. And I was referred to this guy. It was an Indian guy. His name, I think it was Mr. Naika, Sacred Naika. And then while I was there, and then I got introduced to another guy. His name was Danny Keston. Danny Keston also got a job to become a household manager at the president's office.
Wow.
So I'm trying to respond to that message. So everywhere I go, if you look at the trend, people want to work with Andile. People want to take Andile with them. And sometimes people think that we want to use them, and it worked for me. And no one actually told me this is a road to take. It worked for me. I was just a magnet to people. You work hard, and fortune is going to follow you. You know, so I always tell young guys now that just learn the craft, work hard, do everything to make sure that you understand what you're doing, and luck is going to follow you. I can bet my last rent, luck is going to follow you if you work hard. So that's how I became President Nelson Mandela's personal chef, 1994. A year and a half later, I was transferred to the office of the deputy president. Because of the deputy president then, Madiba became president when he was already very, very old. So bulk of the work that was done was at the deputy president's office. So then the deputy president office, they actually requested me to be forwarded to their office, but only senior position, because I was actually in charge of all the households of the president. I was in charge of the household in Pretoria, so I used to fly up and down with the president, and sometimes outside South Africa with him.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
What food did you enjoy?
Thabo Mbeki or Madiba? Madiba used to love traditional food. That's why actually my ex-restaurant is actually carbon copy of what I used to serve Madiba. You know, so we used to cook oxtail, we used to love roast chicken with salt and pepper, a lot of coarse pepper. And umngqusho also, used to love umngqusho. Yeah, on Mbeki obviously, some with beans.
The one we enjoy at your place?
Most definitely, yes, yeah, most definitely. That's why I'm saying that my menu at my restaurant is actually infused by what was happening at Madiba's office, and so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so I don't know what's this guy doing here,
and then
but I'm enjoying him. Yeah, this one.
Yes, our friend.
Yeah.
Pelana, he wants to be interviewed.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be left out.
Yeah.
Now you and then they like you.
Yeah.
And then President Thabo Mbeki ati, now I want him.
And so I was then transferred to his office. I remember the first time I met him, we had to fly with at the Esteplat airport, Cape Town, the air base. So we flew on a private jet. This was my first time at a private jet.
Wow.
To Pretoria. Yeah, so it was quite nice, and the pilots were nice enough to me. They said I must come and sit with them. So they taking off, and the landing, the approach was actually done while I was actually literally watching and seeing, and then I became the aviation enthusiast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was your experience working with the presidents?
I actually never realized how big that job was until I left that job.
Right.
Yeah, but I knew that I was actually working and I was a personal chef to the most popular president in the world then. I mean, Madiba as a most popular president in the world. I mean, he ran with that for the longest. Even though he was no longer a president, but people were just like idolizing him because of his personality and because of the way he was like prepared to reconcile with people that actually did what they did to him. And did what they did to the entire country, you know, and to the entire black population. So he was prepared to reconcile for the sake of the country. He did not put his personal interest first and put the interest of the country last. So he did it vice versa. So that's remarkable. I mean, how do you share a table and have tea with people that actually were prepared to kill you? You know, so that's what he did. I mean, that's not every day you come across such people. So yeah, you know, Madiba was something else. Yeah, but funny enough, I enjoyed working with Mbeki. Right. I loved Mbeki. Yeah. Oh, I loved Mbeki.
And what was his favorite food?
Mbeki ate everything. The reason why I loved Thabo Mbeki also, but Madiba and Mbeki, they're not different people. Madiba, I remember also, let me just take you to the very first day I met Madiba. I remember the convoy. It was in Cape Town at Rondebosch, a Grootskere estate. And there was actually a president's house at the Grootskere estate. There was a president's house, and de Klerk was a deputy president the time Madiba was the president. Okay. And de Klerk was the previous president of the country. So what Madiba did, he said, in part and parcel of the reconciliation, keep the president's house. While you are a deputy president, keep the president's house. I will stay. There was a house called, I can't remember its name. So then that house, it was changed into Genadendal. There's a place that is called Genadendal in the Western Cape.
Okay.
By the side of Worcester, I know that. So he actually, that name was adopted for the house that Madiba stayed in. So there were then two deputy presidents. And the first deputy president was Thabo Mbeki, and the second deputy president was de Klerk. And de Klerk maintained the president's house. And then Madiba had to be moved into the request reconciliation. Who does that? You know, so I remember the day I met Madiba, the securities came in to come and sweep and check what's happening and all those things, and in no time the convoy came. And this whole thing that was happening was quite remarkable. We were peeping through the windows and looking. Wow. This thing is real now.
Were you believing when you were seeing that, or you were still in disbelief? Were you pinching yourself?
You know, I'm going to also take you back to how I went through interviews. At some stage, I didn't even know that I was actually interviewed here for Madiba. Yeah, so I was working at a Centurion Hotel then, and I was invited to Parliament to go in and attend an interview. There's a job that was actually available. Then I remember I agreed to come for an interview on my lunch day, on my lunch hour. So I was actually wearing my uniform, chef's uniform, and my chef hat. I went to Taine's, the Parliament building, wearing my chef's attire for this interview. So I went there. I was interviewed by these guys. I can't remember the women, but I knew their names then. And the Africans, ladies. And wow, I enjoyed the interview, and they were quite warm to me. They asked me my background. They asked me what type of jobs that I've done thus far, and then what dishes I can be able to cook. Can I travel? What other language that I can speak? Even though these things were provided into my CV, and it was quite a warm interview. And in no time, then I was actually invited to come and attend another interview in Pretoria, which I did. And and I was appointed. Obviously, they ask the type of background food that I can cook also, which is to accommodate Madiba, the traditional food, South African food. I mean, this man spent almost 30 years, 3 decades in prison. He hasn't been eating traditional, his food that he grew up with in the Eastern Cape, so they needed someone who can be able to craft that properly. So then, that's when I met Usistroli Sandoia, who was a domestic lady who was actually doing the chores at home. I was employed as a personal chef of Madiba, running the official household of the president. And I later became, I came across some information that someone else was claiming to become was a chef of Madiba. That was quite puzzled. I was quite puzzled, but I've never asked her, by the way, why you do this? Because you were never a chef. You are not a chef even now. You will never become a chef. She is never a chef.
I think I saw the lady who said she was a personal chef.
She was a cook. She's a cook at home.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she ran with it. It was top billing that was involved, but it's fine. She, so close. I get along with her. I even invited her. She was in my restaurant.
Okay.
And we took pictures. Yeah, she's working in Southampton. But people keep on coming to me. Chef, who is this lady? Chef, who is this lady? I think I want to set the record straight now that I'm not here to mock her, but I'm here to just set the record straight that Sis Closer was actually working at the household. I was running at the private house of the Madiba as a cook, as a home cook. Because for you to be a cook, professional cook, you have to qualify for that, and then for you to be a chef, you also have to qualify for that. Yeah, so that's what happened.
You were interviewed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you were the president's chef for a long time, and you leave.
Yes.
And when you left, when did you decide now that I've left, I'm deciding to open my establishment? How did you come about that, and when did you decide you wanna open your own instead of going to work for somebody as well?
I actually did work for hotels after Madiba. After the deputy president's office, Thabo Mbeki, I then work at the Hilton Hotel here in Sentin.
Okay.
As an assistant food and beverage manager there. Was also based actually at a restaurant called Trade Winds. I was running the restaurant called Trade Winds there. So and then after that, then I started my own business in the catering space. So I used to do events around the country. I started small and I grew up the business to become a person that was actually recognized in the industry. So I was doing government jobs because I had contacts that people that I actually made friends with, and I registered myself on the database of the system. And I used to do a lot of government jobs and a lot of private jobs and all those things before I knew it. And people asked me in the events that, chef, where can we get your food? And then that all alone drove me, sorry, to open the restaurant that I'm running now. And then so I've been running the catering business and also running the restaurant also in between. So I've been focusing on both of them now.
When you started it, did you save up? Did you get any funding?
You know what? I remember how I started this particular one here in Midrand. I mean, I barely had any savings, but I mean, again, we're doing, I mean, when you are in the event space, you're doing catering, we were working with events companies also, you also have your own database of how to get these jobs. When you get a windfall, you get a big job, maybe you're doing 100 people or 200 people or 500 people. You get that windfall and then you pay and then you're left with a lump sum. Then you have the money to start a business. But there's no space, there's no place. You need a space and you need a vital location. Location is everything in business.
It's very important, yes.
So, to find the place where I started this Midrand, it was not much. I had some money that I've stashed on the side, but it was not much that I used to start this thing in Midrand, and I built up to it. I built up to it, and as you have been there many times.
When you started?
Yeah. I started with barely nothing, and I built it up nicely, and in no time I was there. That place became too small for me, and then it was extended. And then within a couple of months, the place again that was extended was actually again too small. So now actually we've extended it again now. And so I mean our food has actually attracted people around the country.
And you travel a lot as well.
Yeah, we travel a lot to doing skills development around the country and outside South Africa. And so we get invited outside South Africa to go and do talk about culinary, go and do master classes and training, and also go and do judging because we qualified judges.
Okay.
And we also judge here in South Africa, around Africa, even international also.
I saw. Okay, and thank you so much. To aspiring chefs, what would you say to them, and what would you say are the challenges in your industry, and how to overcome those challenges?
Sure. Challenges are always in every industry, in fact. But in our space, you come across very, very rude chefs.
Okay.
You get rude people in every industry. You come across difficult shifts. Because of our industry, it's not an 8 to 5 job. Yes, and there are these shifts. And you guys, I've told you that when I started at my tender age, I used to do the split shifts. And it's like they were not enough. I used to even put more hours on top of that, those split shifts, because I wanted to learn. As much as you can do, guys, as much as you can do, please go out there, learn and learn and learn the craft. Make people to use you. I know a lot of people like to complain and say they're abusing us and everything. As long as you are learning, let me just repeat this. As long as you are learning, allow people to use you. I've allowed people to use me, and I've learned a lot.
And here you are today.
And here I am today. One thing that people keep on making mistakes is once you know the job, knowing the job is not enough. You need to know how to market your business. And then also you need a person who's an expert. You can train yourself to become expert into having a big mouth. Because of business, if you are very quiet, your business is not going to fly. So it's you need to go out there and make relationships with people. And those relationships are everything to a startup business. So word of mouth also, if you're doing very well, people are going to talk about what you have provided. Your service, everybody is going to talk about your service. If your service was very good, everyone else wants to have what the others had from your experience. So it's important. So what happened is, like now in business, as I'm saying to look at my friend, it's important that you create relationships, you create contacts with people, and you print your stationery, you print your business cards, you actually advertise a little bit. Some people will take a picture of your bill, your small little pull-up banner. You have business cards, and sometimes you give business cards to people, and people, before end of the function, you see your cards, some of them are on the floor, and somebody on the floor. So yeah, but those things are quite necessary. You rather have those few business cards on the business cards on the floor than not to have them at all, because of it's very unprofessional. Also, and then also, if you can also be able to have a little bit of a computer or a laptop, because of when you're sending quotations to people, you need to professionalize them. So people, they watch little things, because of, I mean, how are you going to provide a professional service to them when you cannot professionalize? So little things. Yeah, so it's important that you remain professional. And the other thing that is also professional, also when you are a startup business, also is uniform. Your staff, you must not come in the event, you come with staff that are wearing blazers and jeans and all those things. No, just try to invest in t-shirts, just white t-shirts, just write your logo and your name. At least those are the things that are quite cheap to have. And then as time goes, when you get money, reinvest into business, get chef jackets. Your chefs, people that are cooking food, people buy you. They don't buy what you're serving them.
True.
They buy you first.
True.
And then also a presentation of yourself first. It goes a long way. It speaks volumes. And so it's important that as a startup business also, you start to look after how you look. Yeah. And I've worked and seen chefs, they will work in the restaurant or kitchen or in an event. Immediately after that event, they put a jacket on top of the jacket because they are ashamed that they are chefs. If they're going to the shopping mall, they put another jacket on top of the jacket because they are ashamed of being chefs. I walk everywhere with this jacket.
But why would they be ashamed? Because it's their craft.
They've got different reasons, and I don't understand. So be out there, be seen, do the right things. And then also, if you have a social media page, we are not saying that you cannot be a human being, have some little jokes in your page, but at least 90 to 95% of what you post there must be what you do.
Must be
your work.
Business.
Yeah, so it's important that don't post yourself as a startup business or as a small business holding a glass of whiskey or a ingood. Yes, and don't do those things. Yes, and so I've seen people putting a lot of things, very, very funny things. As a matter of fact, even now, if a person invites me to be a friend on Facebook, I always look at who these people are.
You check their timeline.
And then even people who are asking me for a job, I go to their timeline and check what's happening there, because I'm going to judge them based on those things.
True.
Yes, and so I want people to judge me, and I want people to judge me and correct me when I make mistakes. But I also people must also be allowed to judge others also, in the purpose of building them. So as a business person also, as I'm saying that you ask a question, it's important that you carry yourself, give confidence to people that you are serving them, whatever product you are selling. And the first and the foremost, you're selling yourself.
True.
So take yourself serious first, and you can't be showing off with the long beard. If you put you're wearing a long beard, at least you have those mop caps. You cover that, yes, and then you're out of the work. Or if you have dreadlocks, at least just find some ways of, because of your appearance is everything. Because I'm not going to eat your food when your hands are always in your nose, when your hands are always in your head. I'm not going to eat your food. Yes, and I don't expect people to eat my food. When I'm cooking, the dog is busy fiddling with me. So I don't expect people to eat my food. Presentation, how you portray yourself to the public, because of public is going to buy you first before your food.
Before your food, true.
So it's important. And another thing that is very, very, very important, product differentiation. Your product that you're giving out to the market there's a lot of people who are cooking malam khodu. There's a lot of people who are peka imilekwa. There's a lot of people who are peka isonga samans. Your product must differ from the rest. and your food needs to taste nice. Taste your food. Taste your food before you serve anything. Taste your food. It's important.
Exactly. Understanding what makes you different from your competitors.
From the rest, you know. So, I mean, I always tell people that abantu capacity ulusu is African food. That's nonsense. Lusu is not African food. Lusu, you can find it around the world. Everyone in the world, they've got lusu. How we cook it, that's what makes it an African. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you understand?
Wow.
Yeah, and then this thing, this thing of our African food, our South African food, is the leftovers, the animal. It's not also not right. We don't eat chicken feet, the intestines of chicken and chicken heads. We consume the whole animal. And there's a lot of people in South Africa who are our colleagues in the industry, who are chefs. You ask them, what is South African food? They don't know. I'm not talking about people who are at our household, who are chefs. I mean, they distort it. They say when you ask them what is South African food, they say it's tripe, it's chicken feet, chicken intestines and tripe, lamb tripe, beef tripe, maudwana. No, it's not true. We consume the whole animal. So what makes it a South African dish is how we cook it. It's how we cook and serve it. So I mean, in the West African region, they have the very same animals. That's why it makes, I mean, there's a dish in West Africa that is called pepper soup. There's a lot of dishes that they have there. What makes, and pepper soup consists of things that we have here. It becomes a pepper soup, and that is belong to the West African region. It's because of how they cook it.
They cook it.
Yes, right. You see. So that's where the problem. I mean, the differentiation is. So let's learn, and I mean, around the world, around South Africa. I mean, South Africa has got an incredible amount of products, food products. I mean, we have guinea fowls here. We have springboks. We have warthogs. We will go to United South Africans and go and buy duck from South France. What for? Yet we have rare ingredients that are so good. I mean, umfino luhlabayo. Today now somewhere in Pretoria, I'm not going to tell a place because I want to be the only one who goes and harvest it. But then I'll pay a capital in. Very, very nice. Those are South African dishes. Yes, and I mean, if you go to Palabora, there's a pumpkin infused with cost meal. Yeah, you understand? So let's embrace those things. You understand? I mean, there's a remarkable woman, Suga, the Polokwane region, Khaladi Tem. I met her at the CSIR when I was working for science and technology, cooking for their canteen there. And this woman has actually produced a couple of books that are talking about indigenous foods of South Africa. And a lot of other people in the country should learn about her. I know she has used a lot of people around the country. She works with a lot of village women to collect these products and ingredients. And also she goes out there and even sample how to cook these things. So it's quite remarkable what she has done. And those are the people that need to be followed and make sure that we follow the footsteps to make sure that we make enough noise about our own South African food. So that's what I'm doing at my restaurant. You'll never come across a pizza there or a pasta or a pilaf rice and all those things. I mean, it's quite sad in the Western African region. People are actually having one of the national, in fact, the regional dish, which is called jollof rice. Jollof is not an African product. I mean, jollof is an West African product, but rice is not an African product. It's from the East. So, in other words, we're embracing things. We create our own things by using the ingredient that is foreign. Yet we have ingredients that are here. We're not making enough noise about them. You know, I mean, there's a product that is called yam in the West African region. I don't know if Central Africa has it. It's quite good. These things are very, very good. You know, so we need to promote them. You know, so we need to make enough noise about our own Moroccos. I mean, in the Shangaan region of the Polokwane area, they have the pumpkins. You take pumpkin seeds. They take pumpkin leaves, the young leaves. They make Morocco with that, and then mix it with nuts. And these things, these products, are quite good. I was introduced to these things, and in the Eastern Cape region, some cockles, you have some cockles in Jabonji. It's very nice. So if we are not producing and promoting these things, I mean, roasted cooks that are done by Amabulu, those things are nice. You know, we have a very, very unique type of an animal which is called Karoo lamb. Karoo lamb is eating the dry product. I think it's cerebos or something. I'm not sure. I'm starting to be corrected. That product, when I'm some that guy, it has a special taste. I mean, I have a friend of mine. His name is Charles. Charles is from Pretoria. He went to migrate to New Zealand. He lived in New Zealand for 14 years. He tells me the lamb of New Zealand, it's so popular and everything, but when you compare that thing with the South African lamb, is miles ahead our own product. I was in Ghana. Every Tuesday in the hotel that we were staying at, they were ordering meat from South Africa. Every Tuesday there was the delivery that used to be collected at the airport from South Africa. They're buying meat from Johannesburg. We have something great going on here, but we are busy idolizing other things from outside South Africa, which is quite important. That guys, look, without us, our products are going nowhere. We need to promote what we do, what we stand for, our own food, and whoever feels comfortable in running and doing the Eastern dishes and the French dishes. No, by all means, carry on, guys. We cannot all do the same thing. You can carry on doing what you are feeling free to do, but some of us also, we need to talk very much so, I mean, a lot about what we produce in South Africa, and we need to promote it because of our own tourists. When they come to South Africa, we must make sure that we feed them. You know, a person from Italy, a person from England does not want to be eating beef Wellington and with Yorkshire pudding. They do it even better than us there. Let's give them something unique. Let's think, which is our own local food. And when you cook your own local food, if you're not language, you are at your best.
True.
You're comfortable because of the language. Now, South Africa is that we are comfortable in cooking. It's easy because of, I mean, you grew up eating this thing and you grew up cooking this thing, it becomes easy. So, if the Cape Portuguese guys, the way they have mastered the fish and chip industry. So, if you get into competition, I mean, if you look at the Indian South African Indians, when they cook anything, anywhere, they always stick to their food. You will never see an Indian person eating sikota. You will never see an Indian person. You can see an Indian person eating zumkhot, but Indian sakufakar. It's quite nice. I've eaten chops cooked with curry. I've eaten in togo. Iskop, sekush, senjong.
Wow,
beautiful. This is them. And when you taste these things, it's a new thing to you, and there's that wow factor. That what makes you a cut above the rest.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
Business.
What are the future plans for your business?
Expansion. I want to expand, and I also want to open a culinary school.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I want to open a culinary school. I want to teach. I want to give back.
Yeah.
I want to give back. So I want to give back at all.
So meaning yours won't be expensive?
Most definitely, yes. Because of, I mean, the barrier to entry. People are battling to get the qualifications because of this course is very expensive. You know, it's not reachable. You know, so the most important thing, that's something that is still lacking in South Africa, is there's no school that is teaching South African food. So because of there's no syllabus out there. You know, we need to work with people who are able to work on and drafting the syllabus and make sure that people are taught your French cuisine, your European cuisine and everything, but also over and above that, because of the system allows the African part of the cooking to be infused, but there is none. We, as people who are carrying the recipes, we need to make sure that we dot them down in the books, and they must be out there. So we're working on something like that. So the future plans are to expand the business and then create build legacy You know, it must be a legacy business. You know, so it's that's where I'm going.
Right. So you also live in Mark. I mean, you've done a remarkable job. I mean, with your work experience, with what you've done, where you've been, obviously leaving a legacy and your name, I think is the right thing to do.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Because I mean, you've worked with icons.
Yes.
I mean, it also fits you. Do you understand? Now
Yeah.
to be an icon, you are already recognized. Do you understand?
Yes,
So,
yes. And another thing also, once you are lucky enough to work with any icon around the world, please, humility is everything.
Yes.
Yeah, remain calm. Don't be big-headed. Just do your work. Let the work do the talking. Just focus in doing the work, and then build up and build up and build up. Humility is everything.
And
you know,
money
once
will
you have,
follow you.
yeah, money will follow you. You know, once you are big-headed, you are going to be focusing on. You are a celebrity chef and everything,
True.
and you are as good as your last meal on the table in this industry. So it's important that people must just
Calm down.
come down, just do the work. And we're not saying to you, when you see industry flaws, you must not raise them, because there's a lot of flaws in our industry. You know, transformation is one of them. So we're not saying good people must not raise those things, but it's important that chances and opportunities must be fair to everybody. I mean, if a white person is good in something, that person must be given that chance to do that job. You know, so and vice versa also. So it's important that let's just say, look, go out there and humble yourself, work hard.
For allowing us into your space.
Yeah.
And may God richly bless you, increase you,
Yeah.
and may He make sure that the future plans are a success.
Yes.
And now remain humble. Guys, he's very humble. If you go to his restaurant, everybody that goes there wants a piece of him because of his humility. So when you speak of his humility, I understand what he means, because he's very humble. You know, he's not big-headed as big as he is, but he's not. And yeah, thank you so much again, Budi.
Thanks, Namsanana.
And thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you've learned. I've also learned a lot. There are things that I didn't know that I now know, especially when it comes to our South African dishes, you know, and I hope now you've learned, and I'll see you again on the next episode. I'll also leave his restaurant details. He also has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna leave the link to his channel. Please go and subscribe to his channel as well. And thank you so much. Goodbye and God bless you.